Hello, everybody. Bo Prosser here. Hope you are doing well today. Good morning if you're listening to this in the morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whichever one finds you as you're looking at episode 2 of Year Round Generosity and Stewardship. Bo Prosser from the Center for Christian Education. Thanks for joining me. And as always, joined by my favorite sidekick, the generosity guy, Ruben Swint. Ruben, thanks for joining. We're looking at quarter 2 today. How's everything going?
Things are going well. Delighted to be with you. Going to look at these next 3 months in our series, and I think we've got good stuff to share.
All right, April, May, June. We got lots of stuff to share for sure, and we're going to get right to it. So, where are we? What are we in April? What does that look like?
Well, Easter usually occurs in April. It's the 20th of April this year, and the message of Easter is love lives. Love is alive. And I don't know of any better way to show that than to have some kind of initiative into your local community that demonstrates love, care, compassion, and generosity. What can you do for those who live nearby, who need some attention, need some help?
We are giving to our community, whether they join our church or not.
Yes.
We are showing generosity. Just the church is here. We know you're here, and we want to serve you however we can. One of the ways you suggest that is for the church to do a reverse offering. What in the world do you mean by that?
Well, this is a trend that has emerged over the last few years whereby you take your regular offering during worship service or receive contributions through other means that have come about since COVID. But near the end of the service, you pass the plates and ask people to receive an offering, a reverse offering, if you will, or you hand out envelopes with cash counted out already inside the envelope, hand those out as people leave. And there's certainly some instructions. And the main gist of this is take this money and go do some good with it. Either multiply it somehow and return it, but best of all, use it in your own personal lives, going about your daily task and work and chores. As you come upon situations or persons who need some help, be generous with them. Try to strike up a conversation, learn a little about them, and just have that experience, if you will, of generosity.
Absolutely. My friend Kevin Meadows at Grandin Court in Roanoke, Virginia, has done this several times. The last time they gave away about $5,000, and that offering, that reverse offering, if you will, multiplied to over $10,000 worth of goodwill that was given into the community. It was an amazing,
Right.
amazing moment in the life of that church. So you also say this is a time to evaluate all communication.
It is. Let me speak just quickly about a $2 offering
Okay.
because a $2 offering is something that attenders give, and this is in addition to their regular contributions. The idea being everybody can give $2, especially if
Right.
they're prepared to do it.
Yep.
Children can give $2, and you have pre-selected a target family or need, or maybe a parachurch organization that needs a little boost. And everybody gives $2 and you collect that up, count it, and go distribute it. But the main thing you're trying to do is listen for the results because you invested just a little extra and to see what kind of impact that have. I mentioned listening so that you can report back. And I think one of the things we need to do in generosity and stewardship is communicate continually all of the good things that are occurring because of our generosity. So evaluate your communication channels, uh, your print media, and especially social media, which is print just on the web, but nevertheless, that's the way a lot of people get their information nowadays. Take the time in April to make sure all of those channels are working well for you and that they are easy to post to and get the word out about anything important, but especially generosity.
Absolutely. The front door of the church is now the worship service and the website. And if
Yeah.
our website is not up to date, if our worship is not relevant, we're going to have a tough time reaching people. The last thing that happens in April, Holy Week and Easter. How do we do generosity around Holy Week and Easter?
Well, I think Holy Week and Easter are the prime example of generosity. We are celebrating God's great gift and the gift of Himself through the person and the risen Christ and of Jesus. And we are trying to celebrate that in a way that has meaning and carries us through the living of our days for the rest of the year. If we're not talking about generosity during Holy Week and Easter, I don't know when we talk about it because God demonstrates His extravagance even more than generosity during these particular days.
Absolutely. I think it's okay to invite people to generosity, even on Easter Sunday. Perhaps no better time than on Easter Sunday when we're talking about God's good gift and generosity to us. So we move from April to a very busy May. Mother's Day, a part of that. We'll have more to talk about that in just a moment. But you suggest some kind of financial management workshop. What might that look like?
Well, we're coming out of April that has that secular activity of filing our taxes, which means we've probably reviewed our finances and our deductions and our income, et cetera, et cetera. We already have that data probably at hand, and it's a perfect time to experience a personal financial management workshop and to have that geared for all ages because all ages can benefit. And this is one of the places where I think the church has kind of seeded the conversation, if you will, about money to the secular society. And we have a Christian perspective on how we deal with money, with finances, with assets. And it needs to be heard, it needs to be taught. And there's some skills that can help us move through this society of us that's so consumerist oriented. Learning those skills helps us carry out our Christian mission better as individuals, families, and as congregations.
So we're doing the adults in one area, maybe even segmenting adults by age, older adults, younger adults. Then youth have a room where they're studying, children have a room where they're studying. It's not just childcare, it really is education for all ages within the
That's
church.
right.
Then you talk about fund for summer. I think fun for summer, Ruben, but you added a D to it. So what
I
does that
did.
mean?
Well,
Fun for summer.
summer's going to be fun regardless, but we also want it to be funded, if you will. And what happens in the summer is our regular contributions sometimes decrease and our regular expenses in churches increase because we're doing more on a dollar cost average basis for children and youth during the summer than we are any other period of church life during the year. So that needs to be funded. So I think it's good to get ahead of that and promote all of the activities and events that children and youth and even adults, Bo, they have adult vacation Bible school now. Did you
They
know that?
do.
Well, it's wonderful, but it costs. So I say fund the summer for a fun summer. How about that?
I like it. I like it. You also say create a gift menu with target items, uh, not going to that store and buying,
No.
but targeted would probably be a better way to say that. You're focusing our generosity and our giving towards certain things that are needs of the church or mission activities for the church. Say a little bit more about that.
Well, there are always things that need to be addressed in church life, either from an organizational standpoint or even a ministry standpoint. We can't quite wedge them into that budget because that budget is already it's going to grow larger because of inflationary costs. But here's something: we need to update all of our software on our computers. We're still running Windows 2000 and we're way behind, and they're not protecting it anymore. So we need to pay some money and get that done. Or that air conditioner in the back that's you have to go out and kick it several times when we're occupying the room. It needs to be fixed. So I really recommend having a gift menu that lists all those things you couldn't wedge into the budget and just walk around with that. Pastors ought to know their top 5 needs, because you never know when you're involved in ministry when someone will offer, say, does the church have a particular need at this time that I can help with?
Yes.
And many times, if you're prepared and you just reach in that pocket and bring out your list, you can say, as a matter of fact, there is. Which one of these
Absolutely.
things appeal to you? Well, I don't know. What do you think is important? Well, if we do this, and this is the key, if we do this, then we can get this done.
Yep.
And it's always what you say after the word then that's important. That's what people's giving to. We can have a comfortable climate. We can have effective office procedures. We can do more ministry with more people. And I think that's a wonderful thing to have available. Have that developed in May and have it available throughout the summer and on into the rest of the year.
There are always church members who will say to you as the pastor, what do you need? And if we don't have a list, if we don't have targeted gifts, we're probably losing a generous offer from a church member. So during the month of May, also some celebrations. Mother's Day, for sure, the centerpiece of May. But we also usually have a graduate recognition Sunday, and we also have
Yes.
Memorial Day, when we honor those who have fought and served and kept our freedoms alive. How might we plug a generosity message into these special celebrations?
Well, there's generosity all through those. We certainly can say for Mother's Day how generous mothers are, how focused they are on their families, how they give and give and give. And it's time to celebrate all of their contributions and give back some recognition, some love, some hugs. Let's spend the time that's commensurate with their efforts, and let's really honor them in the spirit of the generosity they've bestowed on so many people. Graduates, well, graduates don't get to graduate unless there are a whole host of people helping them along.
Yeah.
Graduates are kind of the embodiment of the generosity of parents, neighborhood leaders, teachers, employers or part-time students, Sunday school teachers, youth leaders. All these graduates don't arrive fully formed on their own. There are other people involved in developing these lives, and we celebrate not only the graduate, but everyone who made that possible. And then Memorial Day speaks to, greater love hath nobody else but those that lay down their lives for their friends, their brothers, their family. We're celebrating the generosity of greater love. And Memorial Day is an opportunity to state that and to
Yes.
say how grateful we are that we can live in this type of safe environment because of those who paid the ultimate sacrifice.
May could be designated as Memorial Month. And so
Yes,
we are giving memorials or designated gifts or endowed money in honor of a special mom or in honor of our graduates or in honor of a veteran. Lots of opportunities to invite people to give and to share during May. And I like May being Memorial Month.
that's great.
One church where I've served had an endowment fund, and part of the endowment, it was written into the endowment that every high school graduate would get a scholarship for college. And on graduate Sunday, those graduates were lined up across the front and they were presented a check from the endowment fund where people back before them had given so that they could have an opportunity to move forward. It's a most moving moment when those kinds of gifts are handed out because of people who've come before us paying it
Yes.
forward. So May is memorial. Think like that. Now we move into June, and June we know is fun times, and we have to fund the fun as you've already talked about. So one of the things we're going to do is take lots of pictures and report back to the church. Why are we doing that kind of thing in June?
Well, June is when all these activities take place. We're basically uh, responsibly reporting how the members' donations and contributions are being used. And we're saying this is the result of your giving. This is what we're able to do because of your generosity. And these activities start in June and they're going to continue through the summer. So I recommend recording them because later maybe you will want to bring an end of summer report back to the church, probably after Labor Day, once school is back in session and regular programming has begun. You say, how did we do this summer? Well, let me show you how we did. And you can do that if you took the photos and videos starting in June.
Absolutely. Here's what your money did. Here's the fun you have funded, if you
That's
will,
right.
and let people know. Record stories and testimonies. Not only are we sharing pictures or even short videos, but you're also suggesting testimony time, which we don't do very much in our churches
No,
anymore. What do you
no.
mean by this, Ruben?
Well, I think anytime you're in an experience, an event, an activity, it has an impact. It forms you somehow. This is true for me even today when I attend church or certain activities. And it's the relationships that are being built and experienced. So a good story is probably going to be worth about 3 sermons. Sorry, pastors, don't mean to denigrate your sermon speaking skills, but here's the thing. Folks latch on to stories, and Jesus was wise enough to tell stories. So we take the truth we know and we experience, and we you tell the story of how that came about. And what I love to hear is children or youth may be saying their few words. Uh, this is what it meant to them. Get their
Absolutely.
testimony recorded. Get
Absolutely.
their parents' permission to use it, and then share that with your congregation.
Yes, absolutely. Vacation Bible School is a big, big event in many of our churches. A great time to do outreach for families, to do targeted Bible study for adults, for youth, and for children. And that's something we should have on our stewardship and generosity calendar. How does Vacation Bible School play into what we're calling people to do?
Well, I tell you, there's no more generous teaching of the Bible than in Vacation Bible School. And we used to be when we had 2 weeks of VBS, the claim was made our children and youth will get as much Bible teaching in those 2 weeks as they get the entire rest of the year. And it's a wonderful time if it's used wisely. So I think Vacation Bible School could be one of those targeted items on our menu, our gift menu. in terms of supplies, in terms of snacks, in terms of transportation. A lot of the things that we want the children and youth to experience. I think we need to also think about Vacation Bible School as a mission initiative because many, many, many families who are not members of the church would welcome an invitation for their children to attend VBS every year. And that's where I think we have some of our greatest impact is in the lives of those children who don't have a regular habit or behavior of attending church.
Absolutely. One of my favorite times of the year, and what I think is one of the most important programs in the life of the church, Vacation Bible School. And it's summer, things are a little slower around the church house. You suggest updating social media weekly.
Yes, we try to start January with our team who's going to oversee some of these year-round activities and events. And even if the team's not put together until February, that's okay. But this team can go out and start taking photos, recording testimonies, going around seeing what's happening that's exciting about Vacation Bible School. And beginning in June, start posting weekly to your social media accounts. Facebook, maybe throwing some videos up on YouTube, and continue that through the summer. So even if the church meeting house is not as full as it used to be because people are away during the summer, there's still a lot of activity going on through the members. And I'll tell you who some of the savviest, canniest videographers out there are our youth with their cell phones. So sometimes a youth activity can be, let's see if we can't find some really good videography sessions out this week while the church is active doing all these particular events or activities and post those. You'll get some pretty interesting videos.
Absolutely. One of my favorite activities was a church down in Florida who said, take Pastor Mike with you on vacation. And what they did is took a big headshot of Pastor Mike, put it on cardboard uh, like a church fan. And so Pastor Mike's face, and wherever you go, take Pastor Mike with you, take a photo. So Pastor Mike went to the Grand Canyon and he went to the Mall of America and he went down a water slide and all kinds of activities. That church had more fun posting on social media, holding that picture of Pastor Mike with the family while they were on vacation. It was just a really good time of fellowship. Lots of activities. We've given you many activities here today, but lots more. We invite you to turn your creativity loose, use that stewardship and generosity team, and continue to dream great dreams and to fund the fun
That's
during
right.
April, May, and June. So, a couple of things to remember. First of all, if you would like the slides from this presentation, email me and we'll get these to you, and you can certainly have permission to share them with your church. Second, this is the second part of a 4-part series. If you haven't seen the first one, it's on YouTube. If you can't find it, email me again, and we will make sure you get access to all of these stewardship videos that we're producing. And Ruben, what's left?
Well, we may spark an idea now that somebody who's watching wants to talk with either you or me about. We are available. We don't charge to have a conversation. And so just email us, set us up something, and let's follow up and deal with maybe some idea that these slides have triggered for you and your church.
Ruben, you are a genius. Thanks so much for all of the good wisdom you share. Thanks for being a partner here at the Center for Christian Education. We are getting great comments and rave reviews on the videos that we're doing already, and this one will also be received well. Folks, thanks so much for joining me. Bo Prosser, BoProsser.com, the Center for Christian Education, and Ruben Swint, the generosity guy, RubenSwint@gmail.com. Hey, Bo and the Beard, till I see you again, keep on rocking.